Hi, I'm Mackenzie Schultz, and this Ignite talk is kind of a review of the course CET 720 I took for my MSET program in the spring of 2018 through Dakota State University. So I'll be talking a little bit about that. We talked a lot about innovation, and it's based on change and taking what you might have done before and changing just one little thing to make it different. So making it a new way of teaching and embracing that new way. Innovation is just that. You take something you did and you're not afraid to change it. Be the change. Change is always good. There's never been a bad change in education. So I think we really need to embrace that as a whole. These are a few tools I used in the beginning of this course as reflection. It can be used for student reflection, teacher reflection, also assignments. These are really great tools to start with. Many trials and errors in education is great, especially with technology and innovation and empowering our students, finding what drives them, giving them that change which they are able to understand. Then that leads into talent, and finding the talent in students allows them to find themselves and what they are good at, and will help them understand themselves and build their confidence in whatever they're learning about. That's a big challenge in innovation, is finding that change and that talent. Creating an innovator's mindset. We learned a little bit about this. Teachers need to be willing to instill the growth mindset in students and in themselves, learning that they can do it and believe in themselves instead of saying that they can't. Innovation is just altogether changing something to create a new way of teaching, education that students are able to benefit from now and students in the future. So it's really just a tying all together. The next part of this course was all about reflection and evaluation of ed tech tools. Things we want to add to our classroom should be evaluated before we implement them, sort of things. So really learning about evaluation was this big part. The first tool was Educator's Guide to Evaluating the Use of Technology in Schools and Classrooms. This was a PDF from the Department of Ed, and it pretty much just summarized what we should look for in ed tech tools and kind of the questions we should ask ourselves. The next one was evaluating and assessing tools in the digital swamp. This was a 3-step process it talked about in the book, and it all leads up to that culminating evaluation process of an ed tech tool. The 3 steps was pedagogy, system change, and technology. Those are the 3 steps or components to look at when implementing or evaluating an ed tech tool. You want it to go along with what you're teaching and that sort of thing. So the next one is Ed Tech RCE Coach. This is an ed tech tool that lets us evaluate it step by step, ask specific questions, you enter your data into it, and then it shoots out a report for you. This is what mine is. I did a code.org evaluation, so I did it for 3rd grade students, and I inputted some data. Of course, it was fake data, and it outputted results based on what I inputted into it. The next one is Digital Promise. It's innovation in education. It's a tool that provides, certain steps and frameworks to go along with evaluating a tool. It allows for step-by-step information. So here you can see the 8 steps. There's 8 different steps in this framework. Starts with the need, then you go on to discover and select research, and your last step as you move on is summarizing and sharing, so deciding if it's worth your time or if it's not worth your time. All of these tools that I talked about stand as a survival toolbox for teachers and educators when they're wanting to implement a new ed tech idea and aren't sure. There's lots of resources out there for you to access. You don't have to be afraid. Then last part I want to talk about is reflection, and how do you feel about what you did? We talked about innovation. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about change? Asking yourself those questions and taking that time to reflect is really important as an educator. it helps frame work. Lastly, these are some tools that we used. Innovator's Mindset was a great book. Blogs we used to keep track of questions and stuff. YouTube, we created videos. SparkNote is an awesome reflection tool. Quizzes, we did a lot with quizzes. It was a fun way to learn. Flipgrid is a great reflection. Seesaw, Edpuzzle are great tools for whole class, and Screencast-O-Matic. So thanks for watching this Ignite talk.